Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through!
Prepare to set sail on the ship of imagination as we chart a course through the uncharted waters of Fumble Through.
Fumble through!
A podcast that's your compass to unexplored worlds where the dice roll like waves and stories are the treasures that we seek. Ahoy there, brave adventurers and wayfarers of the podcast seas. We gather once more to embark on another thrilling voyage through the realms of storytelling, camaraderie, and role-playing. Just like the intrepid explorers, we're ready to uncover the hidden treasures of creativity and weave the tales of daring and delight. Speaking of someone who dares.
And also delights.
Nope.
You picked that up quick.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And Threads. I've created myself a Thread account.
Are we back on Twitter?
No, we're on Threads.
It's X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's Threads?
Threads is the Instagram Twitter.
Oh, boo. Boo, get off the gram.
Why don't we like Instagram?
I don't know, I'm old. Facebook is my go-to.
Brett's still trying to message people on eBay.
Yeah, I haven't made one for the actual Fumble Through for Threads. I'm just playing with it on my own to see if it's any good.
We don't. Our MySpace
Too much.
followership's falling off.
Yeah.
God. It's so bad when you say stuff.
Can you
like
imagine if that state? We could actually do a pretty good MySpace. You'd go on and
Is
it'd
that
play
still
like
around?
the no. You'd go on and it'd do the Fumble Through theme. You know how you can put songs in it.
Yeah.
that? No, I didn't use MySpace, nor will I, nor will it ever happen.
I did when it was once.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen. Can I just make mention that, you know how I had a pretty nautical intro there? I called Lindsay's little section in my thing, Lindsay's Nautical Notes.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Sometimes my whimsy when I'm late at night writing these things, it makes me happy. I just look back at that and I was like, oh, that's very clever of you. That's,
I don't like
really-
anything.
on the back.
you really had a theme going there, ChatGPT. I mean, Justin.
I don't like things that make you happy.
I'm going to start finding if that's what it's called. I'm going to start,
Being nautical Commodore
Oh, was it
Miles.
only because I had done the ship of
Admiral.
imagination?
No, but I'm going to
and all
start
that
putting
stuff?
more whimsy into the things that I'm talking about because everyone knows to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah.
Or Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So
Yeah.
I probably don't need to keep telling them.
No. Well, dress up as a pirate.
Okay.
How about everybody this week send us something nautical? Find something nautical in your house. Find something not naughty.
What?
But
Get out of my head. Yeah.
This is not.
He's in there. He's in there.
This is naughty cow. But yeah, so find something nautical in your house, a boat, some kind of thing. Send us a picture of it, some Lego. Make a little Lego scene for it. I would love to see people make Lego dioramas. That would be amazing.
There's
got some-
an Instagram right there, right?
Yeah, that would be. I follow a few Lego Instagram accounts and they are amazing. The thirst traps are great.
Thirst traps for Lego.
Yeah. That was a joke, Lindsay.
Okay, cool. It landed.
Clearly. Anyway, for this week's dicey question, let's navigate the treacherous waters.
Treacherous waters.
The treacherous waters of actually saying words and your imagination. That I would like to, after listening to something that happened recently, that's that Lindsay can't stop talking about Baldur's Gate 3, right? So after hearing that ad nauseum over and over again, what I would like to discuss this week is the impact of geek culture on mainstream society, how it's evolved over the years, and where do you see it heading into the future? Because you can't have something as popular and as prevalent as Baldur's Gate 3. Like, it's everywhere that I'm looking. I follow a lot of video game culture. People are really into this shit.
It's really
So
good.
I've heard, and I'm staying away from it till I finish Starfield.
Me and my mate recently found out in Baldur's Gate 3 you can throw healing potions
Mm-hmm.
and they explode and they'll still heal you on the ground.
Such a shit.
So we just
rule
group
set.
all our characters up
So
and just
bullshit.
throw potions on the
Yeah,
ground.
because that's how healing potions work. Bullshit.
Hey, it does in Pathfinder if you do the alchemist
An alchemist, yes, but not just a healing potion.
I don't think there's any kind of healing for alchemists.
Hey, can Flopsy throw healing potions if you're an
I
alchemist?
don't think there's any kind of healing
You
for
can make
alchemists.
healing grenades.
Healing grenades. I love
I
that.
don't think there's.
Stop
With
her
his hit rate as well. That's perfect. Try and heal the opponent, and then we get it.
and heal
No,
there.
doesn't-
Next time you're on antibiotics, just smash it on your forehead.
It doesn't
Smash it on your
That's what he's
forehead.
been doing. What are you on about?
This next time you have an asthma puffer, guys, it doesn't need to be taken internally. Just throw it on the ground.
Who
Everybody
are you to dictate
will-
the way magical potions work in a magical world?
internally. You have to drink a
See,
potion.
this is the thing. Lindsay doesn't mind because it's a system.
Yeah.
It's clear instructions of how this works. If there wasn't any
It's
clear
not a
instructions,
clear. That's what I'm taking umbrage over, because a potion, by the very means of a potion, is something you drink.
Okay. So if you have a vial of acid,
Mhm.
you could drink it and take acid damage, or you could throw it and do acid
But it's
damage.
not a potion. It's an
So-
alchemical
if
item.
it's an acid.
It's an alchemical
That's the
item.
worst. I mean, you come up with some good arguments sometimes, but that was abysmal.
All I'm saying
Yeah.
is,
If you had a vial full of glass,
all I'm
you
saying,
could throw it or you could drink it.
this is like
If
the
you had a gun with bullets, you could throw them at yourself, or you could put it in your mate.
okay, a bottle of water.
Yeah, but what? It's water.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
It's
drink
not gonna
it,
quench
It
your
quenches your
insides get
thirst,
wet.
but if you throw it on yourself, it does not quench your thirst. You just
It makes your pants wet.
All I'm saying is, it's a magical world, right? Who are you guys to dictate that these are the way the magics have to work in that world?
sorry, didn't mean to yuck
Isn't
on your
it-
yum, your
it's
massive yum for Baldur's
I
Gate
know,
3.
I know. Everybody should be able to do anything they want, regardless of what the rules
It is
sets
5e
are.
as well.
Anything you can think of, you should do, because it's the rule of cool, and the rule of cool should surpass any kind of normality. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. So anyway, going back to this question, discuss the impact of geek culture on mainstream society and how it's evolved over the years, and where do you see it heading in the future? What I mean by this, because I know I need to give some clarity to this, is you think about the world that we lived in when we were kids. There is no way some of the stuff that is out now, or some of the things that we like now, they were subcultures almost. You know, you had to dig to find them, and it certainly wasn't a moment where you could walk up to someone and probably in a room full of people go, anyone here play D&D? And someone would be like, yep. You know, it didn't exist back then. How has it changed, and where do you think it's going to go in the future, and what do you think has been the catalyst for these kind of changes? How has geek culture really taken hold and changed the world that we live in?
It is something that I find quite fascinating from the way it's evolved, because like it always comes with one medium, someone making a successful medium of something they like. So like someone turning Lord of the Rings is probably a perfect example. Like a lot of people would not have read Lord of the Rings when I was growing up.
Mm.
And then the movies came out. And that was someone having the passion for it and getting the funding and going for it. And it's that passion that then takes it to the mainstream, and people go, hey, this shit's pretty cool. And then it goes on from there. And I think that's kind of, it's people with their passion that are the catalyst for anything.
But
really.
is that like, I guess people who like fantasy genre and Lord of the Rings would definitely have gone, oh, I'm going to be into that. That's my kind of thing. There's some dragons, there's some elves, there's some fighting, there's some battles. I get that there would be, yes, an action movie kind of clientele to that. But Lord of the Rings also brought in like a whole heap of people, I think, that weren't their clientele, in the fact that they had the hot Legolas, you know, so a lot of ladies went and saw it, and then they found the love story and they found the elves, and so I think it branched out beyond what it should have been and became a bigger story because
But
of that.
stuff was
right?
there. You know, that stuff was in the show, in the books.
Mm.
It was the fact that he had the power and he had the passion to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think that was the thing that I think Peter Jackson landed on the back of a whole heap of other subculture people who were testing the waters, and some of them worked a little bit, which gave the studios enough confidence that they could invest a lot in his vision of that. There was a Lord of the Rings movie, Saturn Awards are big and kind of acknowledged sci-fi and movies in sci-fi. Lord of the Rings in 1978 made.
The cartoon.
Yep, but
Love that.
just as big a vision, just as big a opportunity for an impact.
But died after the first episode. Like
Yeah.
it actually lost money and they canned it.
Was it?
There was supposed to be three of them.
Well,
right.
the first one went all the way into Helm's Deep, so
Yeah.
I mean, it was technically the first two
But-
books, right?
I think the argument here is one person is at the tip of the iceberg of a whole heap of other people testing the genres in market, and then there's enough testing where the funders who are very conservative will go, I think there's enough of a market there now, so that, you know, Watership Down, Pete's Dragon, Sinbad, all of those kind of movies that were a bit B grade built an audience up that finally let enough of that step into the mainstream.
But then you get Viggo Mortensen and Orlando Bloom to play it, and you've got another. Got another subculture of people who are like, oh, they look so dreamy with their long hair and their.
That's the mainstream
muscles.
part of that. So the studio would have
Don't they,
gone,
Luke?
yeah, you can, but you've got to put these people in there, and those people would have got it. They would have understood what they were there for. That, you know, I think that plays. I think the trick for the mainstream is it's a tipping point. I think, and I might have said this before, there's an arc where, you know, the first 10% early adopters, then the kind of the people that grab onto something early, and you need those first adopters or those kind of the tipping point to go over before everyone else will jump in. But you only really need 12% of the population to get there before everyone else jumps in and says it's cool.
All right. So what
I
are
also
some
want to
tipping
point out
points?
that Viggo Mortensen and Orlando Bloom weren't the big household names they are now. I mean, even Viggo Mortensen never really.
Well,
did that
Orlando
much
Bloom was
else.
really the lady draw card for
Yeah, but
that.
he wasn't. I don't know anything he did before that.
Was Pirates before that?
No.
Or
But-
Pirates at the
So
same time?
Ian was a big draw, and Kate
Yeah.
Blanchett was a big draw. Like they did layer that thing with a whole heap of names.
Talent.
Some
galore.
emerging names, some established names.
Well,
I think
you talk tipping point. What are some tipping points? That's probably the better version of this. So if you go back and go, okay, what is a tipping point of cultural change that leans us more towards the geek, towards the subcultures that we love?
As in a movie or as an event?
Whatever, anything.
the Stranger Things is a big one, right?
Can I just jump in on one?
Yeah.
The Matrix.
100%.
I think that was a pivot point for people.
100%.
For a culture.
For what culture, though?
Oh, just get people on board the more of the like the sci-fi kind of like a little bit more out there than mainstream that would normally have been considered something a little bit more B-rate and not really something a lot of people would engage with. When the Matrix dropped, I think that just exploded for a lot of people. That certainly in my experience with people that I know that would never have gone near a movie like that, all of a sudden had this just crazy concept science fiction. And then kind of opened up the gates a little bit for access to other stuff that maybe people were like, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe I will give this thing a try because I'll enjoy this, and this is a similar sort of thing. So
I think I'm not disagreeing with you, Luke, but I think there was one earlier, and I think it was Terminator. I think Terminator did that before Matrix did that, and brought a whole heap of people in. Gunners doing the soundtrack for it, opened up a whole audience for that. Arnie at the height of his action hero stepping into a really sci-fi kind of space, and there were other sci-fi bits, but I think Terminator
It certainly
and that
was
franchise
a point.
was a big kind of
But I don't
jumping.
disagree.
I'm not sure. The first one, Arnie wasn't very well known.
No,
for
Terminator
the first one.
2.
Terminator 2.
Terminator
Absolutely,
2.
yes.
Yeah.
But it already had the buy-in thing
Yeah.
that you were talking about.
Yeah,
People had
right.
known about the first one and
Yeah.
had gained
Yeah,
And
right.
Terminator
Okay.
2 again had, you know, it had some pop culture bits, but it also there was a young man in it that also they breached out into their wider audience of young teenagers and stuff. Like it's interesting you talk about The Matrix because a movie that came out at the same time, maybe a little bit after. What year was The Matrix? Was that like 97, 98?
98, yeah.
Yeah.
97 maybe, yeah.
Because there was a movie that came out around the same time that I remember called Existenz. Has anyone ever
Oh,
seen
yeah,
that?
with Jude Law. All
Yeah,
right,
great
yeah.
movie. Similar concept. You're inside a matrix almost, and you're pulling out from one virtual reality into
But
another
far
reality.
more
into
esoteric, I think.
Oh,
that
very
one was
much
very,
more.
yeah,
Very much
yeah.
more. But not the success because I think the Wachowski brothers managed to go, this is an action
Yeah.
movie on top of a love story, on top of a tale about right and wrong, and a tale about how humanity is leaning too much into the, you know, there was a real allegory to the Matrix that was lost in the second and third movie,
Yes.
which is why I think I haven't even seen the fourth movie.
No, I won't.
I'm so
I refuse
scared
to
of it.
watch that, yeah.
As much as I love Kananu.
That's another crystal skull for me. I
But
can't, yeah.
it's definitely a moment. Like I think that both of those movies are tipping points that I can recall. But there's a couple of others like Star Wars.
I was going to bring up Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think not going off the original trilogy because I wasn't there to know how that hit, but I think the bringing in the new episode 1, 2, 3 changed.
Roger.
I think basically the fact that those came out and caused so many people to go, what the fuck, these are terrible. And they weren't. But we diehard fans will still argue that, even though they're not that bad.
I would say most diehard fans would not argue that as vehemently now the new trilogy's out.
But even rewatching them, they're actually really good for like...
They didn't hit the same mark.
Anyway,
people were looking for nostalgia at that point.
I think the point was what happened there that flipped the table is you had all the people that grew up with the original Star Wars against my generation who had suddenly this really cool new sci-fi movie who might not have even... I knew a lot of my mates had never even seen the original trilogy. And it was a new generation versus an old generation, and it became a talking point where kids were suddenly arguing with their fathers about something that they both loved. You know?
It was a way of engaging because the original. Look, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and people are not gonna like this, but you go back and you watch the original Star Wars movie, and it's slow. It's long. It's hard. So I know that I introduced it to my children. And they looked at that movie and went, oh, that's not great. You talk to any of my kids and they will pick one of that middle trilogy as their favorite. Like my oldest child still, we have very heated arguments about where the best lightsaber fights are and what's the best movie. And for him, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin.
Yeah.
Like so
it is.
Yeah, he loves that movie. We went on a holiday recently to Uluru, as I was talking. He watched the movie again on the plane. Yep. He's like, "Oh, I got nothing else to watch.
You want to watch Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, I'll just watch Revenge of the Sith again."
You have to. It's not a simple state of which is in what context. What
he just loves. It's just. I guess it encapsulates, and I don't want to get it. The Star Wars question is it's a too big. But again,
this is my
tipping
point,
points of two generations being able to. But
and this is what the third generation has now brought. We're all venomly against that one, and we've actually forgiven our original hatred of episode 1, 2, and 3 because we're so against this new generation. Is there going to be now in like another 10 years? Is it going to switch again? Like it's bringing those cultures, it's bringing generations together to talk about the same subject, and that is what they're doing really well with the gaps in between.
But I don't think that it was a culture changer for Star Wars. I think it just built on like the original Star Wars.
It wasn't a cultural change for Star Wars. It was a culture change for the culture of people. That's what we're talking about, right? We're talking how did nerdy things become more mainstream?
Yeah, I think I agree. Star Wars did it took sci-fi from B-rate, flat B-rate to A-list, and then a big thing.
You know, without the original Star Wars, you wouldn't have had Buck Rogers. You wouldn't have had there's so much. You know, you've got Star Trek in there a little bit as well, and you've got Aliens in there. But you know, I take your point on the new Star Wars.
Alien came out in 70, about the same time. 79. No, Alien came out just after
72. I thought.
No, Alien came out just after.
I'm fact checking that one.
Let's also be clear that Lucas used a whole heap of people in the fringe on that kind of edge of geek to make Star Wars. Ralph McQuarrie did the concept artwork for it. He's one of the best known comic writers, right? So he used a whole heap of people who were sitting on the edge of mainstream to help him craft Star Wars to get it and sit it there. He didn't want it to be mainstream, although he knew it would tip at some point, but it would tip after the release. He knew the movie wouldn't make money. He knew the merch would make money.
Sorry, which movie?
The first one,
Yeah,
New Hope. And so he used a whole heap of people who he knew would buy into the bigger aspect of that kind of zeitgeist, not the movie, but everything that came out of the movie. And that's where he invested. That's where he kind of put his brain.
Well, I'll give you another culture change that comes to mind because the sci-fi one is an interesting one. Spider-Man. And I know you hate this, Luke, but Spider-Man, the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, without that movie, like I know
was that before Iron Man?
Yeah. So I know the precursors to that were the Fantastic Four movies because they had come out with some success. Hulk was after it, I think.
Wasn't Eric Bana one?
No, it was
Fantastic Four was before Spider-Man.
Yeah. Fantastic Four was first. Yeah. And then Spider-Man came out, but Spider-Man mainstreamed it. And that was the movie that cut through everything. You had, again, it seemed to connect with a lot more people. And then you wouldn't have Marvel and the Marvel movies.
See, I disagree
and
on this one.
the area of that without having Sony bring in superhero movies, because every single one before that had failed, and without doing that, like the Avengers was make or break for Marvel at that point. If that hadn't worked, Marvel as a comic book company even was out of business.
See, I disagree with this one because I think the Spider-Man movies, yes, they made Spider-Man fantastically, but after that you have all those other ones they tried to get back on the bandwagon, like Ghost Rider and the Hulk movies and all that failed. And I'm like...
But you also have the ones like X-Men. The whole X-Men franchise came out around the same time as well, and it was massive.
Yeah, the first three, but then the other ones after that, to me, seem to kind of dwindle out. Like, I think Marvel kind of stepped away from that. I kind of don't put them in the same, I don't know.
Well, that was all Sony pictures. So don't forget that Sony owned the rights to those, and they were just trying to churn out movies to keep the rights to these characters.
Yeah, I'm just saying, to me, they feel different. To me, it's not until Iron Man that it actually
Iron Man was was definitely a second change, but it was the first time, like Spider-Man was the first time I looked at something on screen and went, that looks like the hero in my comic books. Like and it was the biggest movie. It was the highest grossing movie.
It was a little bit more serious
long.
as well, because like I was going to say about what about Batman, because that came out before.
The 80s,
Batman,
the
Tim
80s
Burton's
Batman.
Tim Burton's Batman.
Huge.
But still a bit quirky. So obviously it's Tim Burton, so a lot of I had that vibe, definitely.
Yeah.
And then as you went on from after Batman Returns, was it the second one?
Yeah.
So then they got a little silly. When they
Yeah.
had Val Kilmer, when they had George Clooney, and all that.
It's almost like they went, we'll take a nod to the 60s Batman.
Yeah.
And we'll give it a little bit of quirk to it.
That's what I like about this new movie that's got, I haven't seen it yet, the new Flash one, which has got Michael Keaton in it. I want to watch it just for his
good.
scenes. Yeah.
It's good. The whole movie is well done. It just comes at a very unfortunate time in DC's history where they've gone, we're going to reset the universe, and here's this movie, and then Ezra Miller's personal life is a shambles, and he's
whole heap of complications not in the movie.
And it's not a terrible movie. It's actually a very, very decent DC movie.
I feel like we need to break this down into more genres over multiple dicey questions. It's too complicated.
Well, in terms of bringing those people from fringe to mainstream and bringing that culture in, Stranger Things did a big version of that, I think, for D&D.
Is really what's pushed. 5e and Stranger Things coming out around the same time.
Game of Thrones brought Dragon into the mainstream, I think, where it was always, oh, you're a dragon boy. Now it's like, oh, we all watch dragons, and, you know.
World of Warcraft, the game, like that really pushed a genre. Really, that was.
I don't know that it moved the mainstream into that space, though, did it?
Well, for as many people that played it, like,
but they were all playing games, so you didn't. I don't think you got people who didn't play a game to step in and go, "Oh, I want to play World of Warcraft now because that thing's out there." It's not like
over here as much.
It's not like Baldur's Gate 3.
Over here, it wasn't as big an issue. In say like China and Japan, China became World of Warcraft got banned because kids were killing themselves by playing this game too much.
Because the characters were
like It's over here. It didn't make as big a splash as other countries.
It's one of the biggest games in the world.
Still, yeah.
So I look at it and I go, to make it to the mainstream, you've brought my wife into that culture where I would step in and play World of Warcraft. She would never. But she would watch Spider-Man. She watched Game of Thrones. She will watch Marvel movies. That's the tipping point for me. That's the tipping point to go, she who is without geek will still take it on board and enjoy it.
So I know
Puzzle Bobble.
I used to know. I used to be in a guild with a lot of married couples because the wives would go, "Why is my husband spending so much time on this game?"
Yeah.
And they'd end up playing.
Where that was going.
So it was called.
You were very well behaved then, Luke. Good job.
Originally, it was called Widowed by WoW, and then they just ended up playing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it wasn't as big over here, but yes, it was massive.
I also have a lady at work who refers to herself as a WoW widow. It's it's
Grogu. I'll just put that one out there as well. That's a bit of a turning point
Yeah.
for culture.
Well, there's been a lot. Look, it's been an interesting
Baby
conversation.
That's exploded.
It really has.
It's absolutely lifted up the Star Wars franchise.
I literally looked at a girl the other day and I was like, "Oh, Grogu, great shirt." She said, "I've never watched Star Wars before in my life. I just it's so cute." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's a big thing."
Yeah, okay.
The imagery of it has almost It's like, okay, Pokemon is another one that seems to have transcended. Like, people have grasped onto that, and
Yep.
it's just taken a life of its own. So,
As I said, we could literally do a Darcy question
You could. You're right.
about every week about a different subject
I think part, and this is a different question.
and we try to.
and break it down. I mean, this particular thing, you know what I mean.
I think the second part of the question is an interesting part of the question, which is where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah.
Now that geek culture has become mainstream, then the wave has flowed on, and the next bit of geek starts to become the fringe part. And it's interesting to try and identify what
Sports.
that bit is.
Fumble through.
Sports will be the fringe, and people who are fit and like sports will be like, "You're such a sporto," and they'll get bullied by the geeks.
You can keep dreaming. You can keep dreaming, Justin.
Yeah, pretty people and fit people.
Hang on, isn't that the remake of 21 Jump Street?
It's a little bit too. Yeah. Double strapping it. Anyway, let's get back to the game at hand. So last week I had a ball. I loved coming back to our game. It's so nice. These characters have got a little special place in my heart. And I actually forgot how much I actually
Hey,
like.
how good is it to have like a fighter class do damage?
Even wait, did you even miss Miles?
No. Sorry, let me think
I
about
had
it.
those
No.
spells. That was the thing that I was really glad about now.
Yeah, so I even missed Miles and his attempt at an Irish accent, which I didn't hear last week, by the way.
Okay. It kept turning to JR.
It came in and came out. So I look forward to that because I think this week is a little bit more about character. So where we left it last time, you guys had just cleared out the menagerie. You guys have gone through, you've gone to a mausoleum, you've gone to the Star Hall, you've gone and you've convinced some pathfinders to go and do jobs for you. Not all of them, but some of them. And now you're going back into the northeast corner of the campus. Now, this is the smallest section. So it takes you a little while to come past here. And there's still, a bit going on, but it's starting to fade out, especially in the section that you've just come from. It seems like the fight is winning. Luke.
I was just going to say, is there a chance for us to do some sort of recovery?
There is a 100% a chance.
Cool.
I was just about to say, you've had a 10-minute journey to get to this quarter. It takes a while to go because you're essentially on a giant university campus. So think of going from one corner to the very opposite, which is what you're now doing in a kind of roundabout way because you can't go through the middle because it's still locked down. So you start moving your way through that northeast campus, but what are you going to do first? How are you guys what state are you in? What do you need to do to be ready for what comes next?
Well, Reg isn't in a great condition, so I'm going to apply my rod of cure moderate wounds and give myself a little tappity tap tap.
It's a wand, not a rod.
That's right. Yes.
Don't upscale that thing.
You could say banana, he says potato.
You say banana, he says orchid. Orchard.
And,
Orchard. Damn it, I ruined it.
I might just have another go on that one.
Oh, really? What'd you roll?
Not enough. Well, I was in a pretty big deficit.
Remember, for a wand, it's 2d8 plus 3 for that wand of cure moderate.
Yeah.
While you're wanding yourself, Flopsy's still in his globe of darkness.
Rectally.
And won't release the globe of darkness. He'll pull a potion and drink it.
Uh-huh.
So he's also...
Do you know what? Is this because Flopsy doesn't want people to see him? Don't look at me.
How's Miles looking?
He's pretty good.
Yeah? Doesn't need anything?
He just...
So like a cure light wounds, maybe a little tap with a cure light?
There's only 2, so...
Right.
And Flopsy, as always, is the difference between full and nothing is minimal.
6
so he's
points.
fine. And then he drops the globe of darkness and you can see, his body's got blood all over him. His
What about
clothes
Tia?
are rendered. Well, I'll get to her.
Oh, okay, sorry.
His clothes have rends all over him, but he walks out going, yes, I had that under control, I think. But lucky you stepped in. Yes.
Flopsy, just remember, I can't see in the dark. If you're going to disappear like that, I can't do anything about it, yeah?
I had it under control. Everything was fine.
Okay, all good. It looks like it.
You're
covered in blood there, right?
He's fully healed.
Yeah, but he's still...
You can absolutely see he has been ripped to shit.
Is that Yeti blood?
Look, a couple of bombs and then Tia will... Tia's fine. Tia's taken like 3 points of damage from pecks from a
couple of
cockatrice.
Can I also mention what you guys probably didn't know? If she had failed those, like Tia was the only character that probably didn't need to go near those. But one peck from that and a failed fortitude save, you're stone forever. You are done. That's game over.
Jeez.
Yeah, at this level, you can't change someone back. You are petrified.
Yeah, I think
we got that thing in the cage then, right?
I think you got a sense of that after 2 pecks.
Yeah, a natural 1 would have been awful.
So Tia's she kind of flicks off her sword, wipes it on the body of half the body of the Wyvaran at the floor.
The bloody bit.
Yeah, doesn't want to mess up the white fur of the Yeti, and she'll walk over to Miles.
Are you going to skin the Yeti?
No, let's not do that again.
Yes, how's it going?
Good. You said you were dealing in luck.
Yes.
I do not think you are lucky.
Oh, sorry about that.
I think you make people around you unlucky.
That is also a way to word it, yes.
You are a jinxer.
But not my friends, just everyone else.
And then she'll look at Reggie on the floor, like Reggie, look at Reggie's liver on the floor, look back to Reggie. You are a jinxer.
And what happened after Reggie was on the floor? I went over there and I got him back up, didn't I?
You did well. We shall endure.
Yes. I was going to paint a picture of you, but no, I think I'll hold on to this spell.
Good. Where to next?
We're heading there now, right?
Yes, northeast. What was it?
Everybody's healed, right? I'm fine, but everybody else is
yes, I'm
recovered.
Good. Just a small scratch, nothing else. What about everything else? I'm tapped on spells. I've just got to my jinxes, as TR is saying. Left.
Shall we check out that? They said there was some stuff in the tent that we should.
Yes,
in the tent, and we should check these bodies for anything of interest.
Oh, yes, looting. Yes.
I hate to use the L word, but I do want to use any useful items that they might have for my personal gain.
Anything, Justin?
So each of the Wyvarans, which is there's only one, has a spear, a scale mail, some kind of holy symbol that depicts some type of dragon kind of thing with a scale, little scales that are etched into it, and they're kind of, I guess, unknown to you. You kind of look at them and you're like, they're pretty foreign. You haven't seen this kind of thing before. As a holy symbol, and you certainly can't identify it. It's so foreign that you
Is that the tribe token they held up?
You think so, yeah.
Flopsy's going to take one of those.
Okay. You also get nothing from the Yeti or the cockatrice, but the guys who came out
Cockatrice is still alive.
Yeah, it is. Unless you want to kill it. But yeah, the Yeti holds no treasure, neither does the cockatrice. But inside of the tent, you can see just the kind of things that would help with medical supplies, the kinds of things that you would need at the moment, barrels of water, the large scale kind of trade goods that you would need to set up a triage tent, bandages, that kind of stuff.
Should we get this stuff to the crematorium where they are bolstering people who may be injured, or set up another one here? What's the play?
It might be better to set one up here because then it's two to opposite ends of the.
Boy. No, not. I can't. Who's going to do that?
Is there still people around?
There are people around that are sort of busy and trying to do stuff. There's no one sort of idle, I guess, if that's what you're looking for.
The two that were hiding in the bush might be able to gather people around.
They've already started making their way to the front door. They scuttled pretty quickly.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, you kind of get the idea if you fly open the tents in this place that somebody will probably happen along, or you could probably flag someone down and be like, look, let someone know there's supplies here and you guys can move about your business. This isn't supposed to be something that you stop and spend time doing, I guess.
You there, the dwarf lady with the beard. Medical supplies, patch everyone up. Very good. See you when JR again.
Well done, Commodore.
Yeah, and eventually you get some people who are interested enough and get the attention. They're like, yeah, well, they'll make sure that those get moved over to the mausoleum where people are, where there's some kind of patch tent, and you start making your way to the northeast of the campus. It takes you about 10 minutes to sort of walk through, and again, you have to be very careful about which paths you walk. There is ruts in the floor and explosions and parts of buildings with roofs that are caved in and all of that kind of stuff that is moving along. And as you move to the northeast, there is more signs of warfare, even though the northeast really only has a couple of buildings in it, one of which is the repository, which you tried to get somebody to actually go and protect, but they did not want to. It was one of the failed moments. And then the other one, is the quadrangle. So there's a couple of things called Arliss Hall, which is the main central area, but that's been locked down. That's the center of the convocation of the university, and you can see still there's a globe of kind of energy shutting people out, and you can see that they've really locked that down because that's what they're trying to keep sacred. And as you start walking up at Baffery's Walk, which is the kind of, it's a very well put together. Imagine a university grounds where they've tailored and they've put lots of pretty stuff. So there's statues that line the walls for that. And at some point between when you were first here, as you were walking the gardens when you first started, and now, the crude stone heads of the statues, no matter who the stone heads were, have all moved themselves, so they're looking south. And each one of them, to a one, bears the expression of a combination of anger, shock, grief, outrage. You can see that emotion in all of the statues, regardless of how crude they were, regardless of what style they were. All of them share that. They've all kind of turned their heads to look in that direction, the direction of Arliss Hall, and they've all got this kind of expression that is upon their faces, which is something very different to where you are. You can see that the repository now has pathfinders outside of it. And you can see somebody is setting up some kind of little perimeter around the repository. But as you get closer and closer to the quadrangle, so what you do know about this, and this is a bit of back history that you would have gotten as you did your initial tour, is that the quadrangle is where it's basically the barracks. It's the dormitory for young pathfinders, where people who come here to study. It's where people go. So it's probably not a bad thing. It's an ivy covered building that's quite beautiful. The architecture of the quadrangle actually predates the Pathfinder Society actually coming into this area. And it's a boarding school for Absalomium, or the people of Absalom's nobility of children, because there's always been a school here for something. But right now it's about Pathfinder initiatives. So there's a small stable, a training yard, study chambers, lecture halls. You can imagine like a dormitory, but it's a quadrangle all on the inside. And as you get closer to it, you can see a solitary figure with a large moustache, dark hair, almost a slicked back kind of short hairstyle that's very short on the sides walk out. And you know him to be Ambrose Valson. He jogs out of the quadrangle's courtyard and he says, "You lot, we have a crisis over here that can't wait." And he turns and gestures to the quadrangle. "When the banquet started, I dismissed the first-year initiates back to here to continue their studies for a few more hours. The damned Uspis were waiting inside for 2 of the dormitories." The venture captain then says, pointing over at 2 ivy-covered stone buildings, "I think their plan is to leverage the initiates and hostages, and if they have no other escape route..." He then kind of looks back at you guys and he kind of gives you an inscrutable look. "This situation can only become more desperate. The safety of our initiates can't wait another minute. Consider yourselves drafted no matter who you are or where you come from, because you're all I've got. I'm heading to the southern dormitory. You, head to the northern dormitory. Talk them down or hit them hard and fast. Do whatever you can, but keep those initiatives safe." And he kind of stops for a second and, it's not a moment where he runs off immediately, but he describes the dormitory to you. So what you know is that this main hall of the dormitory is there's 2 large doors, or 10-foot large doors that open up into quite a large open kind of area with a stage on top of it where they would give lectures, or like the seating area. Like in Harry Potter, there's like the food hall. It's like that kind of food hall, but it's only 20 foot wide, but it goes back about 70 feet, and there's a stage where people can sit and eat, or they can move the tables across. It turns into a study hall. From that, there are there's hallways across to the side that are kind of through doors, and then off shooting those hallways are small little rooms on either side of the building itself. What you do know is that there is a very large window to the west. So on the stage side of the wall to the west, there's a large window, and that's the ivy-covered wall that you can see there. So you could possibly climb up that ivy-covered wall to look in. You also know that all the smaller rooms also have windows that you could possibly gain egress to. He goes on to tell you that he knows that there is somebody inside that they're negotiating with. So he knows that there's a hostage taker, and he alone is in there, and he has the credible threat of saying that he's got hostages in there and he can kill them all almost instantly. And he's like, I don't know how he's going to do it, but it seems a credible threat. Like, this guy doesn't seem like he's bluffing at all. So he kind of says to you, look, whatever you do, you're going to have to do it carefully. You're going to have to do it fast. We don't want the kids to die in this situation. So maybe doing some reconnaissance is possible. Maybe you want to burst through the doors and just smash the shit out of this guy before something happens. I'm not sure how you want to do it. But he kind of says, look, you know the layout, you know the rough way that this works. Be very careful. Don't tip your hand.
Reg.
Time for some sneaky.
Now, I know I like to talk a big game and be Commodore Miles and all that, but this is the Reggie 3. You are in charge.
Oh, now I'm in charge.
Can I just clarify?
I would like to say, we do not talk, right? We try to, but we're not very good at this. I don't think we go. I think yes, reconnaissance sounds good, but I don't think we try and talk him down.
Let's just have a look. Have a look. I reckon. Sorry,
I'm a little unclear. Kill the younglings?
I killed them.
Flopsy, you stay here. I'm going to go have a little look.
Stop or I'll shoot.
All right, so we're going to do a bit of reconnaissance then, I think is the consensus here.
I did not like that man.
I would like to clarify a spell.
Nice.
Well, I'd like to clarify a hex with you, Justin.
Yes.
Just by your reading.
Uh-huh.
So I have a hex of flight, which at different levels does different things. At level 1, it lets me cast Feather Fall.
Uh-huh.
At level 3, it lets me cast Levitate.
Yeah.
And then later it lets me fly.
Yeah.
The thing that confuses me, I know Levitate you can cast on other people, Feather Fall you can cast on other people, but it doesn't specify in the card sheet, but it says...
Is it the Hex of Flight?
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to read it so that we all understand?
Yes. So at first level, the witch can use Feather Fall at will and gains a +4 racial bonus on swim checks.
Interesting.
Which I think is a typo.
No, it's because you can...
I think it should be fly checks. Yeah.
At third level, she can levitate once per day.
Okay.
At fifth level, she can fly as per the spell for a number of minutes per day equal to her level.
Uh-huh.
These minutes do not need to be consecutive, but they must be spent in 1 minute increments. This hex... final thing only affects the witch. Got it.
Always the last line, right?
thing. Yeah.
That has been our bane of our rule reading.
Yeah. I like it because even in the errata, can a witch in the flight hex use her feather fall and levitate abilities on other creatures? No. That's it. No. The end. All aspects.
I kind of assumed that was going to be the way it was because it made sense not to be able to cast on anyone else, but I just like...
Do you write errata, Justin?
Hmm?
That was a debate like we would have with you on rules.
No. Final debate. All right. So I guess for me, as a GM, the real question is you've got this place here. Is there anything more that you need to know about it? I guess are the questions. Are there things that you want to know? So there is a door to the south. So there's the two big doors that you can come through, and there is a separate door towards the south. That's kind of a side entrance, I guess, or a back entrance. Into the place that goes into a chamber with some food. So where you might go and where they deliver food essentially into this area. There's some meeting rooms on that side. They're a little larger. There's two kind of smaller rooms. So that's your egress. There is a basement, but you can't get to the basement until you're inside of the actual building.
Right. I think we need to go through the back door, guys. I'll go check it out.
Brett, would like to know what Nikron can see through that window.
Yeah. Nikron's not here.
Oh, you were going to say dead then.
I was going to say dead.
To me.
Nikron's blue.
And Flopsy's talking about acceptable losses.
How many younglings are in? I mean, how many?
Yeah. So what do you? I guess
the
real question is like, what? It's up to you. You tell me how you want to deal with this because you know now most of. I feel like you know most of what we've got, unless there's some questions in your mind, and now you've got to figure out the approach.
I can handle
what you want to do.
I can handle the scouting through the window with skirmish. If you want me to get check out, see what they can see in the window.
Okay. Well, we need to know where he is, where this guy is. I mean, if he's in the back quarter and I try to sneak in and he's right there, then the jig's up.
Okay. Let me get a quick gander. Skirmish, go have a look in the window. Come back and tell me what you can see.
All right. So Skirmish has a climb speed.
It flies.
As flies. So
fly check.
Swim speed.
Yeah. So Skirmish flies up to which window? The large window?
Yeah. You said there was one high, right?
Yeah. So it's like basically think of like a big kind of open window above the huge open hall. It's that like it's a 15-foot wide, massive window kind of thing. Ornate, if you will.
Since you seem to not remember, Skirmish is my.
Yeah, I remember Skirmish.
Okay.
It's like Tippy, but worse.
It's the same, but just it's a dragonfly because you rolled a dragonfly on the chart, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Skirmish flies up. Does Skirmish have any way of stealthing or are you doing anything to stop Skirmish from being seen from the window?
It's just a dragonfly.
I mean, I can roll you a stealth check if you want.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's do that because obviously if Skirmish is going to fly up to the window, there is probably some kind of chance that Skirmish might be seen. So
21.
Okay.
Oh.
What can Skirmish communicate with you? How can Skirmish communicate? Like
it speaks, remember?
Like a thing.
I don't remember. I got to be honest. I forgot you'd lost Tippy.
Yeah, I knew Tippy could speak. I didn't think Skirmish could.
They all can speak.
Okay.
That's how it communicates.
Mm-hmm.
It has common.
So it speaks from the window. So he's in the middle.
So Skirmish comes back to you, and I guess the understanding, I guess, you know, if you read the rules on familiars, that while they can talk, they don't have the same sensibility. So Cat still sees certain things.
Wait, you're saying because it's a dragonfly, it can't talk anymore.
Yeah. It doesn't have a means by which, like it can perceive and give you notions of stuff. So it gives you the notion of a large room. It gives you the notion of a table, of people sitting at a table.
Okay. That's enough for me.
Ropes that are tying them up. Blood. Battered, bruised. One person walking back and forth.
Here we go. All right.
Near the front doors. Walking back to the stage, back to the other part. It gives you the notion of cutlery, of plates, of cups, of the idea of that kind of stuff. And shut doors, I guess.
Shut doors. Internally within shut doors.
Yeah.
I can open the door, should you require it.
I can open a door. It's fine.
Okay,
can you melt the door?
I have a spell called Knock, which will unlock the door.
Oh.
It won't open it, it will just unlock it.
Yes.
Yes, doesn't sound good in there from what I can empathy link from Skirmish. I forgot Skirmish couldn't speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Small person, too.
Yeah, small person.
So
It's a
one
small
walking small person.
One walking small person.
Like that one.
Like a halfling or a gnome.
Hmm.
Like a halfling or a
Not to
gnome.
be confused with each
Sorry,
other.
I forgot. I don't know what's happening with my accent today. It's just disappearing.
All right, so should we get? I'm going to go to the back door. Reggie's going to go to the back door, and we're going to try and.
Holy One, what is the plan? What do we do?
Reggie's looking around. Say, "Holy One." What?
She's called the Holy One.
Yeah,
before.
no. Yeah.
What are we doing? Do we wait? Do we attack? What would you like?
No, we're not going to attack. We need to suss out what the situation is. I want to go in the back. I want to check out
We need
if
to
there's
be.
a way for us to sneak in.
Look, he said, "Go fast or go careful." I'm not stealthy. I don't think Tia or Flopsy look particularly stealthy.
Not
But
for yourself. I have used my darkness, but I can sneak around a little bit.
if it goes bad, we need to act quickly.
Yeah, that's great. But I mean, if we're all going through the same door, wouldn't it be better to split the party?
What do you mean, like SWAT style? I go through one
Yeah.
window. You know?
Yeah, I'll go through the back door, and Tia goes through the front door, and Flopsy throws things through the window.
I wonder, Reg, if you might use that potion of vanish that we found. You have a potion of vanish.
How far back did you go with the?
It's written on his,
It's on his
on the
notes. It's called notes.
And I gave it to you
Yeah.
because you would be useful in a scouting situation and it would enhance your scoutability.
The vanish thing, fine. I get so out of context. The vanish thing's fine. My concern is getting through this back door if it's shut without him being triggered.
Yeah.
So whether I'm invisible or not, he's going to be twitchy about the back door coming through.
So, and while I gave you some suggestions, don't take that as the only option. Like, you guys can figure your own kind of. You play
kill the
this
kid,
how you want. Like, you could possibly throw some kind of healing potion at someone, and it might heal them.
I'm happy to give this a go if you want. I personally just think it's going to end badly.
Well, how would you approach it then?
I think we just need to go in. Like, yeah, we could all go through different entrances, but I think we just need to surprise motherfucker.
Okay.
I guess the one thing that I would say, and I'm going to ask you this question: how much do you know? How much recon have you done?
But we're not a party that can do it.
So you've got the words of a dragonfly.
Let's just
That
think
sounds
about
like a song.
all of our resources. I have a potion of gaseous form, which could get us inside.
I got an idea.
Perfect.
Okay. we got through all of our resources.
It's using a resource. I'll send Tippy up there, get it to do an instant
Tippy
portrait.
is gone.
Sorry, I'll send Skirmish up there, and I'll get him to take an instant portrait.
Skirmish is upset that you've
Instant
called
portrait.
him that you've called him Tippy.
No, here is his moment. He's going to get his spell off there. Go.
I send Tippy back up there with instant portrait.
I don't know who Tippy is.
I send Skirmish up there and do a screenshot instant portrait. It's going to be like a printer.
Picking
Really, really old inkjet.
It's like from Flintstones.
Yeah. The beak pecking it all out. All right. So what do we see then? What's on this portrait, Justin?
I'm reading the spell.
So am I. Of either yourself or a creature you can see. Tippy comes back with a reflection of himself in the mirror. Sorry, Skirmish comes back with a reflection of Tippy in the mirror.
Oh.
I love how it says as well. While it is of too poor a quality to sell, it is otherwise accurate enough to be recognized as a subject or to serve as a target for the enter image spell. So you can't even sell it. You
So
can't
stop
even
me from making a load
Yeah.
of money out of doing portraits. That's funny. All right.
I wonder, little one, if you might take this potion. It will let you climb up the walls.
I've already got boots that allow me to do that, don't I?
I was about to rattle off our resources. A Holocaust cloak and a wheelbarrow was something I was looking for, but
He hasn't
You
seen
haven't
the
seen the
Princess Bride. He hasn't
is
seen
that
it.
The Princess Bride?
Yes, it
okay,
is.
all right.
It is.
But yes, if you've
It's just
got...
the dumbfounded look. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, when the fuck? What the hell is that?
Yes, but yes, your boots of spider climb could get you to peek through that window and get us a better reconnoiter than what the deaf, dumb, and blind bird is providing for
All
us.
right, yep. I'll sneak up and have a look through the window then. Do I need to
Okay.
stealth?
I mean, do you want to be loud? So you're going to climb up the ivy is probably the easiest way up there. So it's not a hard climb with
Yep.
the amount of ivy that's on the wall.
Yep.
But it depends.
Can I
Do
use
you
my
want
boots
to?
on the ivy?
Do you want to be quiet or
Use
not?
my boots? Yeah, I'm going to be quiet.
Okay. Yep. So you move yourself up there and you
Yep.
start moving quietly up the ivy.
At half
Give
speed, I
me-
remember that one, right? If I'm
Give me
stealthing, I
a
have to
stealth check.
move at half speed. So that is 14.
They're all dead.
Interestingly, Miles, I hadn't even scratched the surfaces of all our resources before we went and climbed up the bloody wall.
I can hear
Okay,
you
so hang on.
out
Whoa.
there.
It's the
Would a
textile
plus
guy.
2 competency bonus on a dexterity-based skill make any difference?
I don't know. You should have made perhaps.
Oh, but this is my thing. When am I supposed to throw that down?
Where, before you use it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, do you want to retroactively use it?
You've kind of tipped your hand, so I don't think that's really fair.
I can hear you out there. They will die.
Sorry. I'm just the gardener here. I just see that the ivy's overgrown a little bit. I was just for a trim. Fake a fall off the wall.
Bluff check.
Oh,
You could just fall off.
I have to take my boots
You're
off.
a monk. You take less fall damage, right?
I could just acrobatics off. Do you want me to do a bluff check?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Remember your boons.
Yeah, none of them. No, none of them will work for that. That's a dex. It's not a dex. It's a charisma-based one, isn't it? Oh, my word! It's also a 14.
That's right. You had better move away or the children will die.
I move away.
Do
You
think
kind of
he's-
hear like a on the like the front doors, and he's like, "I know you're out there. Move away. You are killing them."
Okay, let's do this gaseous form then thing, Flopsy. What else we got?
Right, so that's what I was saying. Let's do a little...
Oh, I know what.
You're triggering him so bad. If you could just write a list, bro.
I do. It's called an inventory. And I have one. I think I'm exclusive at the table with one.
Very much.
Potion of gaseous form. Alchemist fires, acid flask, bone burns, healing spells, potion of vanish, scroll of identify, scroll of fog cloud, a scroll of knock, and a scroll of jump. 2 lesser restoration potions. Plus some spells. Any of those perhaps
Bomb.
add to our ability to do what we want to do.
So the gaseous form, how long does that last for?
You will turn into a insubstantial, misty, and translucent form for 2 minutes per level, which I think is 6 minutes in total.
But I can bring that to an end quickly, right?
No.
It is dismissible. It has a D, so it is dismissible as a standard action. All of your dexterity, deflection bonuses, and armor bonuses and force effects still apply, though.
And you get
Are
DR.
you gonna tell him the other parts?
No,
Okay.
doesn't. So I'm reading it now.
What's the speed on a gaseous
You
form?
can't run, but you can fly at 10 foot per and automatically succeed at fly checks. So
And
So
how long
just-
does it take for you to change back from gaseous form to substantial form?
I seem to recall this coming at one
it's a
time.
standard action. This is not the 1 minute version that we've used previously.
Okay, yeah.
This is a standard action.
Oh,
too.
yes, because that one allows you to travel over large spaces.
That's
That was
correct.
from a different game. I'm using a different
Uh-huh.
knowledge. Correct.
You can still use spells, but you can't use spells with material components, or you'll need to silent spell them or still spell them, or you know. Obvious, really.
You know. If we're going to do that, who do we want to send in then? Do we want to send Tia in?
I'm not sure what we're trying to achieve.
We're trying to get in there and save the kids, right? And deal with the guy.
Are we?
The guy that now thinks I'm a gardener. I think
Right.
I convinced the guy I'm a gardener.
But
I'm
he
pretty
came
sure.
to the front door, didn't he?
He did.
And how, when you look through that window,
I didn't get a chance there, actually. I didn't get up to the window.
I love. I think he thinks I'm a gardener. Explosion, dragon, fireballs. Oh, just doing some gardening.
these hedges need pruning.
Now's the time, as good a time as any.
Oof, if I don't get hold of the hydrangeas now.
If you don't water your perennials, they're not going to bloom.
So we couldn't see what the threat on the hostages were.
I didn't get far enough, did I? I didn't see a thing.
Do we know what he wants? Hostages normally, they want something to, like, there's a demand.
Why are you looking at me?
Aren't you the charisma-based character?
No, I am not.
Oh.
I'm intelligence-based and strength.
What's your charisma modifier?
-2.
Oh.
So
what's yours, Flopsy?
Fuck off.
What Ambrose Valson told you is that he thinks the plan is that they're going to keep the hostages, and if the entire group can't get out, they're going to leverage them. So basically, they're going to
Lift them
say,
off the ground.
let us go, or we kill the hostage. We've got someone on the hostages. Not just this guy. It's not just this guy's exit plan. It's the
whole
the
incurred.
Aspis. So the Aspis Consortium have gone, let's get them. We'll hold them in counterbalance. If it goes really badly and we can't get out of here, we'll hold them to account, and the hostages will be our escape plan.
That is a lot of paperwork.
Look, I think we go hard. Sleep strike.
Have you got any? Oh, you're all got them back? You can do that? I'm forgetting the rule system here a little bit. You're not tapped out on that.
No, sleep
That's for
strike.
days,
no.
right? That's for days,
Every character I can do it on.
Sweet.
Once.
Yeah. But if they fail it, yeah. Pass that, I mean.
I think the best thing would be to get us all in there, not one of us, because what's that thing about splitting a party? And we can all go in different means. A lady probably through the front door with a big boot.
Sounds good.
There's a gaseous form. There's a sneak in. I don't know, but he heard you.
Yes, he did. Yes.
So be better at that.
Sure. I can give it another go.
Okay. Still no plan, just options for anybody have an idea.
So Tia through the front door, I'll go through the window,
I could levitate myself up through the window.
or Miles through the window and Tia through the door.
Can you levitate up and at a distance see through the window so we can see what we're dealing with?
I mean, if he sees me, though, he's already...
What you should do is levitate up there and do an instant portrait so we can all see what's going on.
Of himself at the window.
Give me that potion of vanish.
I don't have it. Reginald's got it.
Give me that potion of vanish. I'll levitate up invisible.
Here you go.
Glug, 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 glug. And I hex levitate myself up.
You have, I believe, 1 round for Vanish to work.
How high is the window?
So it's not too far. So you can definitely, with 1 round, you get up there, you peek through the window, count to 6, and drop back down again. Right? So you go up, boom, and with a 6-second gaze into the room, there are a couple more specific details that you can see in the room. So number 1, you 100% can see a halfling. It looks like the halfling's got a knife out, like a short sword in the hands of a halfling. Out and is walking around. You can see no less than about 10 initiates all sitting in the middle of the room, all tied to chairs, looking like a very macabre dinner scene. Each one of them is bloodied, beaten, battered, and injured pretty significantly. So they're all looking in a pretty bad way. They're all gagged. They're all kind of looking very scared, looking at each other. The dinner table has been set So it's like, there's some food on the table and set like almost like they're supposedly having dinner for themselves. And you can see that there is a raw chicken that is set in the middle of the table, like a big giant raw turkey actually would be quite large, just sitting in there, and you can see its pink flesh, like just sitting there weirdly, like they're about to serve this dinner and stuff. And you can see goblets that are all around the place, bottles of wine. But what strikes you as most unusually is that there is a goblet that sort of floats in the air above them all, just above where this raw chicken is.
So it's a bit messed up. Just seems to be a halfling. There's one bad guy in there.
Yes.
He's just walking around with a knife. They've tied they've beaten up the initiates quite badly. They're all tied to chairs.
Badly.
And it looks like
Are they too far gone?
No, a couple of bursts would do them good. But they've just got like a raw chicken in front of them.
Right.
And above all their heads.
Death by salmonella.
That's what I thought. But above their heads, there's like a floating cup or goblet.
Do you think perhaps they've been poisoned?
Well, no, I have no idea.
How will he kill them all simultaneously?
I think it's got something to do with the floating goblet.
Is there any knowledge check that will shed some light on this floating goblet, pink chicken, raw chicken? No? Okay.
Do you think that might be the antidote in the air?
No.
Oh.
No, I think it might be something that he's holding This is my theory, right? He's some sort of wizard magic person. He's got a concentration check. Here's my accent again. I found it. He's done some sort of concentration check, and if we beat him up, concentration check, that will fall, igniting the flaming chicken, and boom.
And it's common for a wizard to have a sword.
It's a knife.
Right.
Yes, I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. I'm not a wizard.
Just try to untangle the threads and make sure we have it consistent and thought through.
I don't know. That's just my theory.
It's a good theory.
Fuck you, Flopsy.
Look, I understand tensions are high. Fuck you too.
And just for your information, there are 4 doors that lead off this main chamber.
Mm-hmm.
No less.
So at the back?
4 doors other than the giant double doors at the end.
Right. So where are they?
On either side of the stage, which is on the west, and then just about 15 foot in. So it looks like they go maybe to the corridors that lead to the side chambers.
Yep. Did you see anywhere to hide in the roof if we gaseous formed up in there? Do you think there might be a hide? Okay. And is there a way, do you think, to protect the diners? Shall we call them diners?
Yes. Let's call it the Diners Club.
Right. Diners International, I think, because everyone's come from a long way away. Is there a way to protect them should that be a flaming chicken?
I would say we have to try and stop whatever that cup is.
You think the cup is the key?
I think so. I think if we have some people go for the halfling.
Yes.
Some people go for the cup.
The cup.
And then, try and get the people out. Maybe if you'd chuck off a burst and heal them all, that would be helpful. I don't know.
I'm all bursted out. I've bursted everywhere.
I don't know. We're going to try and get the cup.
Including physically. My entrails were,
bursted.
Right.
Yes.
So what are you going to do?
I think we're going to go for the front door, right?
The time for conjecture is coming to an end, gentlemen. I would like some kind of a plan, some kind of
Let
motion.
me put you to our leader, Reg.
No.
So,
You can't just dip in and out when it suits you.
As a group.
Commodore Miles is...
It's not
delegating the...
It's not Commodore Miles and the Reggie 3. It's the Reggie 3.
Well, okay, let's pull you in. Flopsy / Brett / Tia.
All 3 of us.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Flopsy wants to... Well, I think Kia kicks the door in. Flopsy goes to try and grab the goblet, perhaps with a mage hand if he's got one. I don't know if he does, but trying to secure that somehow.
The goblet's 40 foot in, you reckon?
Yeah. So it's going to have to be a simultaneous kind of a process, I think.
30 foot from the window, 40 foot in from the doors.
So if he was at the window, he could grab the goblet with
Right.
his mage hand.
Perhaps.
Interesting.
Drop my boots.
I have a pair too, don't I? We have 2 pairs.
Yeah. What about what are the other plans? Brett,
And then
Tia,
as that
Flopsy.
happens, sleep strike on the dude from Miles, leaving Reggie free to deal with those things that we have not thought about.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking
Luke/Reggie, what do you think?
So I was thinking Reggie gets the gaseous form, and I go in through the back door and basically get myself into that main chamber in gaseous form, rematerialize in a pocket or somewhere where I can actually stay hidden, and then wait for everybody else. Once it all kicks off, I can go for the cup as well in case the mage hand fails, and also deal with any unforeseen issues.
Okay. And Lindsay Miles.
Sleep strike the main guy is my idea. If I can get that off, it leaves Tia to do whatever she needs to do.
Which leaves us with a couple of details. How are you going to do it? Where are you going to come in from? How are you all going to coordinate? Where are you going to get some of these lists from? Are you going to listen to Brett? What are we going to do next time when we get together?
Oh, fuck.
Have we had time already?
We are
Yeah,
out of
what?
time already. This was
man.
an uncoordinated planning session.
Oh, wow. You tell how much we're enjoying this.
I think
That did
that
not
was
drag. That
fun.
was quick.
Yeah.
That was so quick.
It was